What up, what up? It's the Athletic Show for January 2nd. I'm Sean Gentili. I'm here with Sean McIndoe. Buddy, we are Frankless today. Frankie Corrado's not... We were shifts in the night in Washington, D.C. yesterday. He was there for Caps Canadians. Caps end up winning that one. I'm here for other reasons. Buddy, how are we? I know you've had a great morning full of very normal...
Doing the stuff I love. I'm a professional tech support guy now. And
congratulations to New York Times tech support team honorary member Sean McIndoe.
So it's fun, and I miss Frankie.
I do.
I miss you, Frankie, because I'm sure he's going to listen to the show, right? Like he'll definitely.
He listens to all the shows. He loves the Prospect Show the most. Okay. He's a big prominent guy. Frank is.
Yeah, that's right. Lane Hudson thing. He's really a big fan.
That's right. All right. It's mid-January. The Olympic-related injury stuff is starting to stack up kind of across the board. But the big one that we have the luck of talking about as the Wednesday show, Brayden Point helped off the ice Monday. You folks probably know that already. That's been a bit of a story. Couldn't put weight on his right leg. It did not look good. Sean, we got the Pierre and CJ report yesterday, sometime during the afternoon. Not great for Tampa, not great for Team Canada. The direct quote from that is, the Lightning haven't placed any firm timelines or revealed the nature of the injury to Point's right knee, but a league source said Tuesday that it's, quote, not good.
Not good.
So I guess there's you can read the tone into not good however you like, but I see that and I think it's really, really not good.
Well, but there was then some clarification, was there not, that it was they avoided the worst case, which is a phrase that seems to come up a lot these days in sports injuries, and that he was week to week, which basically means he didn't blow out his ACL.
Yeah, that's like sprain, not tear. That's usually that's usually what I.
But week to week is not great, especially in a league where, I mean, we've seen guys leave the ice with bones sticking out, and they're considered day to day with a lower body. So, we got a month until the Olympics. So if he's week to week, he's got about 3 of them.
Yep.
And then I don't know if Brayden Point would have to come back before the Olympics to be on the team. I think there's probably some guys where you would say that, like, we need to see proof of concept. We need to see you in the NHL and playing. Point's a guy he's a veteran. He's been there. He's been part of Team Canada for a little while now.
He's like a Sharpie name on that roster. That's been clear, right? He was one of the initial announced names for the Four Nations thing. Like, he clearly has that kind of cachet.
It's John Cooper, right? So, I mean, they're going to know. Team Canada is going to have the inside information on exactly
how good he is or is not.
Exactly what good. And it also, I mean, it potentially creates a fascinating situation for John Cooper if it's a situation where Brayden Point can play, but there's an element of risk to it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what do you do if you're John Cooper? You got to win a gold medal, but are you going to risk a guy who is a key piece of a team that right now is absolutely a Stanley Cup contender?
Yeah, they're rolling.
Like, if John Cooper wasn't on Team Canada, he'd be sitting there right now going, take a few weeks off, buddy.
Take your time.
No Olympics for you. Get back. Be ready down the stretch. We got a playoff run.
But right, because you automatically go from 3 weeks of rest to 5 or 6.
Yep.
Right? That's what the Olympic break turns into.
It feels like, in the NFL where a team, a guy will be questionable.
In the bye week or whatever.
They got the bye week coming up. So, man, if they give them this game off, that doubles it. It's kind of like that. So it's the situation right now is we don't know until we hear more details, but it's a very, very interesting dynamic given John Cooper's involvement in all of this. And how does it play out if, and I underline if, because we don't know this yet, but if it's a situation where there is any element of risk for re-injury, it's a tough call.
I mean, we're obviously talking about injury replacement. Census Cooper. We're talking about injury replacement. Nick Paul. Maybe try to get Yanni Gord a Canadian passport. Just let's mix in some more Lightning guys. We might be one short.
As long as it's not a Florida Panther, I think that's still
okay. Well, let's see. Like you, as proud Canadian that you are, I think like here's kind of the choice. Is like, to me, it's a two-tiered thing. You have to figure out who you replace Point on the roster with, and the names there that CJ and Pierre brought up. They're the obvious ones. It's Bennett, it's Bedard, it's Wyatt Johnston, which is a very interesting possibility. Mark Scheifele, Seth Jarvis, Travis Konecny. Those are the guys who are on the reserve list. So they're the most obvious potential candidates to replace him. So let's work off that list, dude. Like, you can pick one. Let's just assume that Brayden Point's lower body injury, air quotes, is not healed adequately in time for the tourney. So you, Bennett, Bedard, Johnson, Scheifele, Jarvis, Konecny. You, as Team Canada GM, can pick one. Who is it?
Boy, it's tough, because the name that you would have said a week ago, you said if a Canadian forward gets hurt, I think you probably would have been down to Bennett and Bedard as your two. All due respect to Seth Jarvis, who was on the team. All due respect to Mark Scheifele, who continues to have a great year. But those would feel like the two guys. And the answer would have been, well, it depends who gets hurt. Right? Yeah. It depends what role you're filling. And Brayden Point's a tough one, because he falls a little bit in the middle of that. Not purely an offensive player.
Yeah.
Which, obviously if you lose someone who's pure offense, you feel comfortable going to Bedard. If it was Tom Wilson who got hurt, come on down Sam Bennett. I think Brayden Point's closer to that first group than he is to the second, but
there seemed like there is a very real chance that he was going to be playing wing on a line with Connor McDavid. So if that's
power play time,
if that's the role that you're the kind of player that you're losing out on, and you're trying to find a 1-for-1 replacement on a very gifted offensive player who, yes, can possibly play second line center, but maybe you'd like to see him most of all on a wing with McDavid and then get some power play time. It's Bedard.
It is Bedard. And look, I mean, you almost don't really have to worry about center versus wing, because there's like 10 centers on this team. You'll be able to figure that stuff out. But as far as chemistry, as far as, it can be tough, man.
This might be the end for us to see Bedard in McDavid on the same line. Like,
the double
I don't
Connor
like
line.
Is that I'm not to say that this is a good thing for anybody really, and it sucks for Brayden Point certainly, but like, if there's a silver lining here, it's that the people a large subset of people are going to get what they want here. Yeah. I think it's and of course this just means they're going to take Wyatt Johnston and whatever,
which would be fine too.
Completely.
I don't think it's Bennett.
Yeah,
even though he was on the team last year, even though, Conn Smythe, and he's been better. Like, he's a guy that through the first month of the season was not exactly putting his best foot forward for this team, but he's been better lately. So
it was more than a month, man.
It was, yeah, you're right. But I mean, I just feel, and I'm being a little too simplistic here, but it kind of feels like Tom Wilson got the Sam Bennett role on
Tom Wilson's a better version of Sam Bennett. Like, he's more Sam Bennett than, like, that guy. Yeah.
I don't know if anyone's as Sam Bennett as Sam Bennett is.
Tom Wilson is a good regular season player.
Way, the Department of Player Safety is aware of Tom Wilson, so that's strike one against him already. He's not their precious.
He's a very well behaved fellow these days. We know this. Just ask Filipino.
I mean, Cooper is going to be a key part of the decision.
Mm-hmm.
And he coached Sam Bennett last year and presumably enjoyed it, because everybody says Sam Bennett's the guy that, like, you hate him until he's on your team, and then you love him. And probably nobody could testify to that more than John Cooper, who really, really hates Sam Bennett 4 times a year and then maybe 7 times more in the playoffs, but probably likes him just fine. Now, that said, John Cooper was part of putting this team together, and Bennett wasn't on it. So, to me, this is where you go more for the offensive guy.
Yeah, I agree.
And there isn't anyone out there who's a 1-to-1 replacement for Brayden Point.
No, definitely not.
But
something to watch on the Bedard front. By the way, this is something to keep in your back pocket. Jeff Blashill's his head coach. Jeff Blashill was John Cooper's assistant for several years before this. Those guys are tight. I think Jeff Blashill's pretty thrilled with the way Connor Bedard has played hockey over the last few months. So if there was any need to have some kind of reinforcement or just have someone gas up to an extent Bedard's overall play, I think you can rely on that coming from Blashill to Cooper. I think that's a nice little tick to have in Bedard's column if he wants to make this team.
And don't forget, when this team was named a couple weeks ago, a lot of the discussion leading up to it was Celebrini or Bedard. And they were right there with each other. And then Bedard gets hurt. And it was sort of a feeling of, well, maybe that's the out. Maybe this is, and at the end of the day, like Macklin Celebrini just took this thing by the throat and said, I'm going to make it impossible for you not to put me on the team.
Get to watch the Celebrini show in person tomorrow, baby. They're playing the Caps. I get to check into that.
That's why you're there. Cool.
Yeah. Not really.
But Bedard was almost there too, though, as far as forcing his way on, and then he was hurt, and now he's back. So, I mean, maybe this timing
it's cool.
Works out.
Now you guys get to have Celebrini on a line with Crosby and Connor Bedard on a line with Connor McDavid. Sweet.
It'll be a lot of fun.
Congratulations. Yeah, we'll see.
But it's okay. But you guys have Brock Nelson to shut that down. So it's
do not look at Jason Robertson's hockey reference page right now, whatever you do. Had some big news pop up over the last couple of days. A coach firing. We got Aaron Portzline, our Columbus writer, to join us after the break. Stick around. All right, we're back. We are joined by Aaron Portzline, who's the team he covered, the Columbus Blue Jackets. They're fresh off a 5-3 win over Calgary. That's not much of a surprise. The big news coming out, though, is Rick Bowness's first game as the coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Dean Evison dismissed not too long ago. Porty, it certainly seems like, based on reading your reporting and the stuff that you wrote over the last week or so, certainly doesn't seem like it's a huge surprise. Anybody looking at the standings could have figured that out. But also, I let's start with this. Don Waddell told you it was the most frustrating season of his career thus far. That's an incredible statement from a guy who's been in the league that long. I think it kind of speaks to why we're looking at the situation that we're looking at here.
Decade with the Atlanta Thrashers.
Exactly.
Probably
he was booking arena shows in Raleigh. Like he had to worry about booking, Brad Paisley to play at the Lenovo Center down there while he was trying to run a hockey team. And this is somehow more frustrating.
And that's why I was like that. Don, that really begs a follow up, because you've been in the game. I don't want to say, you're old or anything, but you've been in the game for quite a while now. You really mean that, or are you just like sort of expressing frustration? And no, it is. And I'm like, okay.
Oh boy.
But he also
start the clock.
Yeah, in the same conversation, didn't give certainly a full support to Dean Evison. And it's not a huge surprise, like you said, that he didn't finish the season, Evison, with the way things were going. But I was naive enough, I guess, to think that it might take until the Olympic break before they made that move. Just that huge gap there. So inviting, but I think they did the math. They looked at it. And, another thing to keep in mind is not only do they have to think about this idea that they still think they can make the playoffs, but Don Waddell needs to have some sort of clarity by the trade deadline, right? Which is sort of much closer than people realize. I mean, not in terms of on the calendar, but in terms of game played. As soon as it comes back from the Olympics, it's like a week. So, he wants some clarity there, and started well last night, but we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. Speaking of clarity, we should be clear on Rick Bowness. Because if unless I missed it, when they hired him, they didn't say interim coach.
Correct. And I pressed Don on that. I'm not sure. You guys have all seen this. People in the sports world get weird about words, right? We're not rebuilding. This is a reset, right? Or, you know what I mean? We're not rebuilding. We're not overhauling.
We're retooling.
Yeah,
that's right.
He is an.
We're not shopping, but we're listening. Okay.
Yeah, and I think maybe their distinction is that they're not. He's not in place while they're looking for another guy. Like now, like
okay,
it's settled through the end of the season. He's going to be the guy through the end of the season, and then they're going to talk.
So he may be the coach going forward, or is this like understood that this is just for the year? I mean, the guy's he's going to turn 71 in a couple of days.
Yeah, and so we very well could be the Blue Jackets could be looking for their 14th coach.
It's incredible.
It's incredible in 26 in 25 seasons.
You're gonna put your resume in, or
Don's got your number, so it'd be
all I need is a vote, apparently. Yeah. And I don't believe the storytelling that a phone call was made Monday. Hey, I know you're on the boat. Would you come here and start coaching our team? Like, I think that phone call happened. I think that was the official. We're going. You good? Let's go.
Right. Get off the boat. Like you're not that surprised.
I think they knew. I think the Blue Jackets played in Colorado Saturday, knowing that Edison had essentially been fired. I think the decision was made when they did what they've done so many times this season. 4-1 lead against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Turns into a 5-4 overtime loss at home. It's one of those feelings you guys have all had it where you're watching the game and it doesn't matter. It's a 6-goal lead and you're like, well, they're 4-7. Like the other team is just the Blue Jackets were just so caught up. No one's playing hockey. A guy gets the puck, looks up, there's literally nobody to pass it to because everyone's like, oh, I don't want it,
Yeah.
It's just a complete meltdown.
And that's been the story this year, is the blown leads.
Yep.
And for those of us on the outside, when you hear about a team blowing a lot of leads, it's one of two things. It's either they're not playing they're not playing structure, they're just everybody's freelance and everybody's trying to get the next goal, or they lock it down so much that they're paralyzed.
Yeah.
And it sounds to me like it was the latter in Columbus. It was just chip the puck out, and then at the end of the period, you wonder why the other team had the puck the whole time.
I think there were a lot of games like that, but there were also other games like the Pittsburgh game where there was a sense of panic and just complete unraveling of play, where a panic. I mean, they were overcome. They've had 3 2-goal leads in 3 games against Pittsburgh. They pulled one out, and it was either overtime or a shootout early, and they've lost the other 2, right? But Pittsburgh's come back every time. Oddly enough, the third game of the Rick Bowness era will be Saturday at Pittsburgh. So here we go.
Was it after the Pittsburgh game? I saw it in one of your stories, the quotes from Werenski trying to explain kind of what happened in the third period there. That's the sort of stuff when you see, you're like, okay, this is something's gonna have to give here at some point soon.
Yeah. And I don't think I don't think they were, I mean, no coach says, okay, guys, sit back, right? I don't think it's ever that implicit, but I think the lines you put out, the words that you use, just don't make a mistake here, guys. Get the puck deep, not be with the puck when you get it deep, not possess it in the attack zone. Just get it deep. Nothing stupid here. I do think it creates sort of a psychology with the team. And there would be games where it's either tied or they're up a goal and it's early third period coming out of a stoppage. Or even mid-third period coming out of a TV timeout, and offensive zone start goes to the 4th line, right? And you're like, seriously, what is the thinking there? Yeah. And you would ask, and it would be, well, I trust my guys. I'm rotating the guys. I don't want to. And I think from their perspective, they thought, well, if we don't just play the way we have played, then we're encouraging a sense of panic. And then you get into this situation where people are doing things or not doing things because they're wondering how they're going to be perceived, and are they going to create the panic? And then you're just completely in your head. And it just felt like there were no answers for it. Was, we got to start getting some bounces. And you're like, okay, you're 50 games in, guys. Like, it's not bounces, right?
And that's you mentioned the time element, and 50 games in, they don't have until the Olympic break to waste. Right. Like, this needs to start now. Yeah. They're 7 points out of a spot in the Metro Division. They're 5 points out of a spot in the wild card. There's a gazillion teams ahead of them. They're functionally at the bottom of the conference there. Like, there's no time to waste. I was taken by something Bowness said too, and this was in his initial, his initial conversation with you as the head coach. This seems like it's going to be music to the ears of the fan base, certainly after what they've watched for the last little bit, or the season. I'm a pressure coach. I'm not a sit back coach at all. That's also, we all know that about Rick Bowness. Yeah. I don't like what we've seen. We're sitting back, and that drives me absolutely nuts. We're going to play pressure. We're going to manage the puck better, and we're going to make it hard for the other team to create offense. When you're on your heels in this league, man, you're going to get burnt. The league's too good. There's too many highly skilled guys. If you want to let them come at you and you want to give them time and you don't want to hurt them or hit them, you're going to pay the price. Like, that is directly in line, Porty, with the problematic stuff you've seen from this team over the last few months, isn't it? That sounds like he's already in the mindset that's going to give them a chance to dig out of this.
Yeah, it sounds like he's been in the comments section thinking, how can I speak to the people?
He's in the Sunday gathering comment section.
How can I speak to the people here? And you know what? Last night they were better in the third period, but you could still see that there were like the old tendencies at times where it's like, no, just go play. Like, I think it's going to take time. Like, Fantilli and Johnson played a ton last night, and Johnson made an impact. They're two young guys, of course, but they're still fighting it. Like, I still think there's a lot of stuff to work through here. And if he keeps feeding them time, maybe they come through it. But you've seen how these things happen, the coach bump, right? Where it just swells up this feeling. And he's probably not saying entirely different things than the previous guy was, but he's saying it in a different way, and giving the players something that they can attach hope to. And I think professional athletes, people in general, want to attach hope to something when things are not going well. And if that's where it starts, that's where it starts. We've seen it here before.
So, Aaron, I guess I gotta ask you, whenever you see a midseason coaching change, unless there's really weird extenuating circumstances, it almost always comes down to a GM saying, this team is underachieving.
Right.
This team is better than the record.
Yeah.
I look at this Blue Jackets roster. Are they better than a 500 team? I guess my question is, sell me on the idea that this team is underachieving, as opposed to this team slightly overachieved last year to get to 89 points, but this is basically a true talent 80 to 85 point team, and Dean Evason was getting that out of them. Right.
Yeah, it's a great question. Last year's team, everybody had two hands on the rope, right? There was a built-in emotional trauma tie to things right off the bat, where you knew where it was coming every night. There's a lot of questions with this group. I think you could say that I'm not sure that they're a top 3 Metro team, but I definitely think they should be a wild card team. Having said that, I'll point out some deficiencies here. They have one goalie.
Mm-hmm.
They have a goalie. And Merzlikins has really, really struggled. I don't think he wants any part of a backup role. He's openly said now twice, I'm getting ready for the Olympics. That's what I'm doing.
That's rough.
Right? Monahan's hurt. He's been playing through stuff. He was one of their best forwards last year. The really troubling thing this year is Fantilli had 31 goals. He's backpedaled a bit. Still, I think he's at 12 or 13 goals. So not out of the question that he gets there. Kent Johnson played a ton last night, was noticeable. But wow, like he has disappeared when compared to last year. So we know how these things go with teams that are relying on young players. It's not a straight upward trajectory ever. It's sort of choppy seas. But I think they felt that they were kind of beyond that with these guys, because it's not like it's their second year in the league. It's their fourth for Johnson, third for Fantilli. I think they're better than they have shown. And I think the proof of that is how well they have played at certain times. Look at their numbers in the first and the second period, and then just look at the cliff that hits in the third period, right? Now, maybe that's man against boys, just proof of that. But I think this is a team that should be much more competitive. The other thing I've seen that I think drives Waddell crazy is, and for me, and I know there are a lot of fans that disagree with this, but Dmitry Voronkov is the 6'5", 230-pound, just absolute behemoth who curls away from checks, who sidesteps hits, who skates away from scrums. And it absolutely drives me and them crazy to see this player with that skill set basically just become another forward. And there are times where he's challenged, and my God, it's vicious. He takes care of people. But he's kind of the poster child for me for this, but there are just tons of guys. And I saw it again last night. I think Bowness is will push to change this. The space in front of both nets is just way too easy against the Blue Jackets. Way too easy. And they curl away from hits. There are opportunities to finish checks, and they don't skate through them. And this should be a physical team. They want to be a physical. They have to be a physical team. They're not hard to play against, and that needs to change.
We also got to get Rick Bowness to find some way to make Adam Fantilli shoot 16% again, because he's down. He's down below 10%. Like, some of the 5-on-5 numbers are good, but the finishing hasn't been there at the level we saw from him last season.
He was like 25% in the second half last year.
Just do that. Just do that again. Simple, easy peasy.
Yeah.
Porty, thanks for the time, man. We're gonna let you go. We know you're a busy fella, so thanks again, and I'm sure we'll talk to you down the road.
Thanks, guys. Good chatting with you.
Here he goes. Me and DGB will be right back after the break. All right, we're back. Sean McIndoe, what have you learned? I feel like you learned something this morning, thanks to Jonas Siegel, right?
What have we learned, Sean?
It is Mitch Marner week in the hockey world. We get Leafs Golden Knights in Vegas this week. And then next week, you get the big Mitch Marner return to Toronto. That will be lots of fun for everybody. And I'm sure everyone will be super chill about the whole thing.
Very chill and normal.
And what I learned this morning is that, Jonas has a great piece on Mitch Marner, in which the main takeaway is that it sounds like... how do we put this so that it's not? I mean, it's easy to say it sounds like he's not happy in Vegas. I think that's a stretch. That's not what Jonas is saying. But he's making an adjustment that, picking up and leaving home and family and all of that stuff and starting all over again. These guys are human beings, and it's sometimes the grass isn't instantly greener on the other side.
They don't have grass in Vegas.
They don't. So it's definitely not. Well, I mean, they don't have any in Canada right now either. So it's kind of lose there for the Marners. But Mitch Marner's been good in Vegas this year. He hasn't been great. He hasn't been, the 100-point Mitch Marner. It hasn't been the whole, when that transaction went down, we all went, boy, you put this guy on a line with Jack Eichel, put him with Mark Stone, and boy, the other team will never touch the puck. Hasn't quite clicked that way, which is fine. It takes time to adjust to things like that. But I will say this, like just as a fan, and as a we live in narrative world. The whole idea of, Mitch Marner going somewhere and then being like, oh, I'm not happy here. That's a great story for fans to jump on, but just you hope the best for him. Like, it's even if you're a Leafs fan, it's like it's
Oh,
done.
am I
He's
surprised?
gone.
Am I surprised to hear
So-
you say that? I'm not. You're a nice enough guy, I suppose.
Yeah, no, I mean,
You're gonna
look,
wish the best for people.
I'll even say this. I would not be shocked. In fact, I'll make the prediction. I think by the end of Mitch Marner's career, I think he's back in Toronto.
Oh,
Maybe just one last year when he's 40 years old and he's got the Joe Thornton beard and whatever else. But the point is, it's not happening now. It's done for now. So just you wish him the best. And he's got the young family and all that. And how can I put this? There's always an interesting
I'm just like letting you cook on this one.
There's just an interesting vibe about Mitch Marner in Toronto, where he seemed like a guy who maybe was a little tougher to make happy than other people. And so if that's continuing in Vegas, okay, I'm not surprised. Like I say, it was pick me up and drop me in a completely different city in a different country and check back with me in 6 months, and I'll probably be making some adjustments too. You just hope the best for him, because if you weren't happy in Toronto, where you were a god, and now you're in Vegas where you're more anonymous, which
be a god or a guy,
and you're a guy. There's I don't know. You're kind of running out of options. So we'll see. Anyways, real good piece by Jonas. I would encourage people to check it out. This is sort of the warm up week of the and then next week it'll be all Mitch Marner all the time. And he'll get a smattering of booze in Toronto, and then they'll play an 18-minute video, and everyone will use the word classy 47 times, and it'll be fine.
Without prompting, Marner brought up the snow and how much he missed it. Jonas writes, he wondered what Christmas would feel like without it. He was taken aback by how early allergy season arrived in Nevada. The dryness that came with life in the desert also took some getting used to. Make sure you got chapstick ready, Marner was shrewdly told on arrival. Like, this is... people are going to read this story and
Don't you
pull out the bits and pieces and analyze them quite a bit, I think.
And be waving chapstick at him at the...
It's not impossible.
Isn't there a part of you, probably, I mean, for you as an outsider in this, don't you wish he had played the heel more when he left? Because with Mitch Marner, there's always been like the stuff behind the scenes, and then there was what he tried to put in front of the camera. There's just like a degree of
there's like a degree of obliviousness to him, I feel like, where it's like he doesn't quite like... him pulling on the Vegas jersey in front of the marketing department or whatever it was. That just kind of sums up the vibe I've always gotten from him. Like, it's like, okay, man.
But he has tried. Like, you can, you look at it and you go like, I mean, he's going to get booed next week by a portion of the fan base. I don't know how loud or if it'll be everyone, but he always tried to say that, and a lot of times he would
over 50% of the people who are making noise.
I think it'll be the kind of like 50-50, welcome back. He'll get cheered when they play the video, but then there'll be boos when he touches the puck, kind of deal. And when he scores the winning goal in the shootout, which we can all pencil in. I think it'll be mixed. I don't think it's going to be a Mike Keenan comes back to New York situation, but I don't know. I guess the thing you can say about all this, as far as him playing the heel, he's never done that. The best heel promos in this entire thing have been cut by Brad Marchand, who's not even on either one of these teams.
Yeah,
maybe we could bring him back for next week. Just have him like special guest ring announcer, or whatever you want to call him.
They should have him in the tunnel and pass him the mic if the boos get too loud. So let's right. And then let him run out on the ice. Be like, whoa, all right, everybody.
Okay. Yep.
What's wrong with you people? He served admirably.
That's right.
He's part of this community. How dare you?
Exactly. That'd be good, and he'd do it too.
Yeah, we got to check the Panthers schedule and see if they're free that day. Make it happen.
Work this out for sure.
I learned something about another Atlantic Division team.
There's other Atlantic Division teams?
Can you believe it?
Yeah.
I don't know if the Bruins are good. I'm not going to say that. I can't look at that lineup and take it all that seriously. That's still a group of forwards that just doesn't move me in any kind of way. But they've won 6 to 7 games. They beat Detroit last night. They're in a wild card spot today, which doesn't mean anything. I am conscientiously trying not to turn every week into like, oh, okay, like here's where we are in the Eastern Conference wildcard race, because it could change and will change every single night from here on out. So where a team is on a given night doesn't matter all that much. But I feel like personally, I haven't taken the Bruins seriously as a contender, and now it's like maybe I should. You got David Pastrnak. He's got 15 points in those last 7 games. Again, Boston's won 6 of them. 15 points, 4 goals. Swayman's been really good. More than 7 goals saved above expected in that stretch. His save percentage is up around .920. Like this to me, and I think this is maybe why I'm a little bit more in on the Bruins than I was before. This is how we thought they would. This was their chance at winning games. Like if they were going to be an actual contender, it was going to need to be because they had Pastrnak, at the top of his game, and Swayman as well. There's something different, I think, about having your best players be your best players on a winning streak versus God bless Morgan Geekie, right? He's a good player, but he should not be scoring more goals than David Pastrnak. Like if Boston wants to be good, they need David Pastrnak to be, top 5 points, David Pastrnak. So I think the fact that, they're getting led in the right direction by those two guys in particular, so Swayman and Pasta, I think that's maybe what has piqued my interest in them a little bit more than what we'd seen over the last little bit.
Yeah. And they're an easy enough team to ignore in the sense that, we love it when a team builds up, they're a contender, and then the window slams shut, which is what happened last year. And then you go, okay, now we know how this works in sports. Go take your couple of years, do your little rebuild, and we'll see you back when you're ready to compete. And here they are, kind of slipping in there. The other thing about the Bruins, and I don't know if I admire their surf, it annoys me, but your feelings about the Bruins are really influenced by how you feel about the loser point or the bonus point or whatever, because they are right now, wins and losses, they're 26-21 on the season. Okay. They've won 26 games. They've lost 21 games. You know who else is 26-21? The Montreal Canadiens, who everybody looks at and goes, that's a good team. Flat out. I mean, they're not perfect, but that's a good playoff team. And yet you also look at the Bruins, and in terms of regulation losses, they have as many as Columbus, who just fired their coach. So what are we doing here? And the issue is the Bruins win a lot of games. They lose a lot of games in regulation. They have 2 loser points, fewest in the league. And we respect it, but it does make it confusing. That and the fact, like, can we just please get all the Atlantic teams to play the same number of games? All the teams in the East, because the Bruins right now have got 4 teams, Toronto, Buffalo, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, that are behind them in points and ahead of them in points percentage.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why
I didn't sign up for math, man. Don't.
That's why it's not worth obsessing over who's in a wild. And I know I'm like undoing the point I just made, because I'm like, well, the Bruins are in a wild card spot. Probably time to pay attention to them. But like, we need to generally resist that urge, because points percentage is all over the place. We're also at a point in the schedule right now where there are serious games played disparities, which is important. Sean, I know you brought that up as related to the Red Wings in the weekend rankings, because they've been intermittently at the top of the conference, but they've also consistently had 2 or 3 more games played than everybody. So it's like you can't take it all that seriously, because that's a relevant number of points, right? But man, I don't know. I don't want to overstate how good I think the Bruins may or may not be, but Swayman's good, Pasternak's good. Geekie's, he's still on balance over the last couple of years, been great. Pavel Zacha is playing well. That's a must-have for them, because their center depth is just so shaky on its best day. But if they're getting good production from him, I think they're going to be in the mix more legitimately than maybe I thought at various points.
One last point to make, looking at the standings page, it's not the be all and end all of everything, but you look at goals differential, they are ahead of all the non-playoff teams, ahead of the Leafs, ahead of the Islanders, ahead of the Habs, ahead of those Detroit Red Wings.
So they're ahead of a bunch of teams.
Some of those are pretty close, but I mean, if you're looking like that is a number you can look at if you're looking for evidence that somebody is fake. That's a pretty good one. If they're sitting there -10 on the year, well, Bruins are +9. It's not a fantastic number, but it's a number that tells you that, okay, this isn't smoke and mirrors necessarily.
It's a situation too in the conference where, there's so much slop in the middle of it, right? So much mediocrity in the middle. Like maybe if you have an elite goal scorer and a potential, low end MVP candidate, and then a goalie like Swayman, who's certainly shown flashes in the past of being a capital G guy, like maybe that's all it takes to keep them in the mix. Because I can guarantee you, on January 14th, I was not anticipating talking about the Philadelphia Flyers and the Pittsburgh Penguins as legitimate playoff contenders. Like, it's crazy.
Isn't it cute how we're acting like any of this matters, as if Tampa is ever going to lose a game again?
No, let's see how many more games they have. Finish the season on a 41 game winning streak.
37. So yeah, they'll be about in the 40s, and then 16 more straight in the playoffs, and we're all set.
As long as Nick Paul doesn't get hurt during the Olympics, everything will be fine, right?
Point. Right? Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
What's coming up for you this week, bud? Do you have a post this morning?
I do. I have a post this morning. We're looking at the prediction contest. We're halfway through the season, so we're taking a look at what we collectively got right and what we got wrong. And it's mostly the latter. But we're just kind of taking a look and seeing what has caught us by surprise so far.
I love the prediction contest. Do you know I do it? Do you know I do it every year pseudonymously?
I did not know that.
Pseudonymously.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. So you got like a Brenner account that you use in the comment section?
That's none of your business.
I feel like we can do some analytics on the thumbs up on Sean Gentili posts and see if we can figure out who.
If you see any winning entrances from Craig C, that's my alias on any and all internet message boards.
Nobody would suspect a thing.
Kind of a light night, man. 4 games. We got Kraken, Devils, Sens, Rangers, Flyers, Sabres, and of course, the Mitch Marner led Vegas Golden Knights against the Kings. So enjoy those. We'll be back next week. I'm sure Frankie will be as well. Thank you, Sean McIndoe. Thank you to the great Aaron Portzline. And thank you, fine folks, for listening to the Athletic Hockey Show. Haley and I are back on Thursday. We're bringing a friend. He's got a long last name that doesn't have many vowels in it. Yes, that's right. It's Dauntless Chishin. He's back. Tune in then. And again, we love you. Thank you, folks, very much.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe and ring the bell to stay informed and catch new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And in the meantime, you can join our Discord community. We'll see you there.